If you pack your child's lunch every morning, only to find out when they come home after school, you open it up and half of it is still sitting there, you might assume that your child didn't like what you packed. But that may not be what's happening. I'm Teresa Hennig, a registered dietitian and educator. And before I decided that my child was being picky, there's 5 things I would want to look at first. And at the end, I'm going to show you how I would repack this lunch. Tip number 1. Did you simply pack too much food? Let's look at this. The size of this apple, it's huge. And we have a whole sandwich. We have a lot of cucumbers here, a fruit cup, a cheese stick, and a little bag of chips. And not to mention their water. All right. Keep in mind, children's energy needs and appetites vary greatly. And so they probably don't need nearly the amount of food that we are trying to give them. Because kids have varying nutrition needs, we as adults are sometimes unintentionally trying to give them adult-sized portions, or at least using those adult-sized portions as a reference point. Not only do kids' energy needs change and vary, they will ebb and flow depending on where they are in their growth cycle or how much energy they've expended that day, just like the rest of us. So keep that in mind. There's some days where your child may have a larger appetite. Maybe they've been more active. Maybe they're in a growth spurt or getting ready to go in a growth spurt, versus days that they just haven't done much. Maybe they didn't go to recess. Maybe they didn't play on the playground. Maybe they haven't been feeling well. A lot of those things come into play. And those smaller portions are also going to be less visually overwhelming, which might make it more likely that your child will try that particular food. So one little strategy to just remember here is that more food in the lunchbox doesn't necessarily mean more nutrition in the child. So let's just think in terms of smaller amounts. So instead of the big, ginormous apples that they sell, maybe offer a much smaller apple. And that might be more appealing to a child that might be overwhelmed by this giant apple. And instead of the whole sandwich, maybe consider half a sandwich instead. And if there's a stretch food, like a vegetable that you're wanting the child to try, rather than giving them a whole bunch of a food that maybe they're not familiar with, that's likely to come home, maybe try a smaller amount in more bite-sized pieces that they might be willing to try. So tip number 1 is check your portion sizes. Number 2, I would look at your child's lunchbox and look at the number of foods that are familiar and comfortable foods to your child. While it is important to increase a child's exposure to foods, and especially for trying new foods, school lunch and school cafeteria is not the place for that. Think about a school cafeteria environment. It's noisy. They don't really have all that much time at lunch. They're surrounded by friends, people, activity, and a new food or several new foods in their lunchbox might be met with some apprehension and less likely to try that food. What we want here is repeated exposure to a new food without the pressure. So sure, if they really enjoy their sandwich and you want them to try a new vegetable, let's say the vegetable is the cucumber. Instead of a bunch of cucumbers and hoping they eat them, try a much smaller amount of the cucumber alongside the familiar foods in their lunchbox, and they're much more likely to maybe try it. They may not eat the whole thing, but then again, you haven't wasted as much either. So a smaller amount of a new food at the lunch is much more likely to be met with curiosity and maybe actually trying it. But if the cucumbers come home, it doesn't mean it was a failed experiment. So tip number 2 is combining the familiar with a new exposure. Tip number 3, can your child actually eat the lunch that quickly? So again, when you go back to the school cafeteria environment, it's noisy, it's loud, but the other thing is they don't get that much time. I think when my kids were in school, it was like maybe 15 to 20 minutes for actual lunch. And when you consider they're sitting down with their friends, they're excited, it's loud, and if they're really overwhelmed by a lot of noise, environment, stimulation, that's going to impact how much time they actually have to eat. So if you're really curious how much they can eat in that amount of given time, try it at home. Set your timer on your phone when they sit down to eat and see how much they can actually consume within 15 to 20 minutes. That will give you an idea. And another thing to consider with packing your child's lunch, I know these individual containers are very handy. Believe me, I get it. I use them too. But especially for younger kids, and I'll be honest, us older people too, sometimes they're not easy to open. If you tried to open one of these, it is not easy. And it's not only not always easy, but it's not easy to do without making a mess. Like if I try this right now, I guarantee you I'm going to squirt juice all over the place. So thinking about how challenging it is to open some of these. Sometimes these open like a dream, other times like you can't do it. If your child can't open it, my guess is they are probably not going to ask for help, so they're just not going to eat it. So if there's something you really want them to eat, like for example, instead of a cheese stick that sometimes can be very easy to open, other times can be very tricky, maybe try cutting up a little bit of cheese in these little containers, which are much easier to open. Yes, I know they're plastic, maybe not great for the environment, but they may be more likely to eat it. You can buy these that are reusable as well. So this might be a good option. And then you can also control the amount that you put in here and use much less than you probably think. And I didn't even mention the drinks that have little straw that inserts. You know how that goes. Sometimes it's super easy to get in. Other times, no matter what you do, the straw won't go in or whatever. So if you need an engineering degree to get the package open, it's probably not the best item to send with your 6-year-old for lunch. Tip number 4. What does this food actually taste like at noon? Just because you packed this beautiful lunch at 7 a.m. doesn't mean it's the same beautiful lunch that your child is seeing at noon. Temperature changes will affect it. So there could be some soggy, mushy bread. If you cut up little apple slices, they might be brown. Warm cheese, you get it. And if your kid is especially sensitive to those types of textures, that is like no bueno for the kid. They're likely to not eat it. So we need to maintain the temperature of the food, and not only just from a visual and sensory perception, this is also from a food safety perspective as well. While these lunch bags are considered to be insulated, if you just put these in here with no ice pack, they are not going to stay cold. So a couple of things. The obvious one is to get ice packs and insert them in with the food, like underneath and on top, just to surround everything and to keep it cold. Of course, now they sell much fancier, nicer lunch bags. This is a very basic one I got from Walmart, but they sell like the Packet brand, I think, that include their own ice packs, which is really nice, but you do want to keep it cold. The other thing, if your child's not carrying a reusable water bottle, which I feel like most kids do these days, and that's great. But if they want an additional drink, you could put one of these in the freezer so it's frozen, like a frozen block of ice, and put that in their lunch as one of their ice packs, and then they'll have a little extra ice cold water by lunchtime. Number 5, lunch might not be the most interesting thing that's going on. I already alluded to this. Lunchtime itself at school is very short, but combine that with loud environment, surrounded by hopefully friends and classmates. If they had a recess period before lunch, I know some kids go after lunch, I know it's all different everywhere, but they might be coming in really excited and wound up, or if they just came from PE class, all of those things. They're hyped up. Maybe something funny happened today. Maybe they haven't got to see their best friend and lunch is the one time. There's too much other fun stuff going on to try to eat all of their lunch. They just don't have enough time to do all of that. They get busy talking and listening and forget to eat their new cucumbers that mom packed. Which would you pick? So you get it. They get inside to lunchtime, they sit down, they're busy chatting with their friends, maybe, get their drink open, take a bite of their sandwich, a bite of a chip, a bite of a piece of fruit, but they're busy giggling, laughing, and lunch ends, and half their lunch comes home. For you, you shouldn't immediately jump to that they hate turkey sandwiches or they're never going to try another vegetable. And no need to really even interrogate the kid either. You don't need to say, why didn't you eat your lunch? So consider asking questions like, did you have enough time to eat your lunch today? Or was anything hard to open? How did your sandwich taste today? Which item in your lunch was easiest to eat? So let the returned lunchbox give you some information. So the next time your child brings home a half-eaten lunchbox, don't just assume your child's being picky. Get curious. Was there too much? Did the texture change? Was it hard to eat? Was it unfamiliar? or did they simply run out of time? Remember, the goal is not to create the most Pinterest-worthy lunchbox. The goal is to pack a lunch that your child actually has a reasonable chance of eating. Tell me in the comments, what is the one food that you can almost always count on your child eating at school? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.